Arena's in the building already, you guys. We are going to ease into the room, play some tunes. We're going to share on whatever platforms we're listening on. And don't think you have to just share this with people that are here, like your friends and family. You know, you have a friend or two that want to have these conversations, so maybe send them a link. Jesse, cheers. Thank you for the tip. And we're just going to chill and get into the conversation, which is soul ties. I see familias and familia. Hello, Crypto. Jesse, Christy, thank you for the tip. People legit, Reggie, I see. There's 5 people on the 6 now. Okay, so I got people all over you guys. Look, this is how you wear like a high-tech bag. You got multiple devices. So I'm on Arena. So for those of you that want to actually get compensated for your time and participation, I suggest going there because people like to tip very generously. But if you are tuning in from IG, where else are you? X and Twitch, welcome. We're going to be talking about soul ties, but I want to give people a chance to get in the room and get comfortable and share and repost and DM text and all that. So let's hope that all this music is truly copyright free. So y'all don't, I won't know that you got booted right away. So let's hope. We got this. We got this. Okay. King Flo, I see you're wider. Hello, hello. Oh, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it. All right. I gotta tip my early arrivals. All right, just sending tips. I'm making it rain digitally. Shout out to the 20 people that are watching either from Twitch, X, or IG. What's the chat at? Okay, there we go. Extinct, yo, what's up? Thank you for being here, peace. Okay. I'm multitasking. I'm on multiple devices. Can I get emojis in Arena and on X? I won't be able to see it, but is the sound okay? Can you all hear me okay? Hey, Crypto Pieces. Excellent day, perfect. Cheers. Thank you for sharing the space. Thank you for being in the place. I guess I'm gonna have to make a theme song. Is that what that means? Let's talk about it. How's everybody feeling? I wish I could tell who was online, but I cannot. It says this is how this is. Alright, let's not have any technical difficulties tonight, shall we? Oh, Extinct, thank you for the 6.9 no show. Look, you know what? What is this wider thing? Why am I always late to the party? I want one of these big football head, lemon head, weird looking guys. I need one of those. Hey, DR, please. Thank you, Jesse. I'm glad you love the vibes. It's only good vibes when good people are in the room, so thank you for being here and contributing. Wider, I don't know crypto. It's so crypto means if you looked at Extinct's PFP, everybody that has that keeps saying wider. And I think it's because this guy's got a big ass football head, like Stewie. So I don't know, but started in a minute. I'm just letting people fill in. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Dear Sapphy. Just talk about life stuff because I'm curious and I'm figuring some stuff out and I'm confused about some stuff and I know I can't be the only one. So I want us to have these conversations where we can be real and raw. I don't know where you're listening. I'm on Arena. I'm on X, IG, and Twitch. Wherever you are listening, if you want to participate and you don't want to chat or you want to be anonymous, you can text the number. I'll post it everywhere. It's 773-800-1420. So anonymous if you want to be anonymous. If you have a question or comment and you can't speak, which I'll bring people up to speak on Arena soon here. I can do it on X. I'll figure that out. I think I have to wait so I get started and I might use the music anymore. Okay, I digress. So comments, feedback, stay anonymous. You can either email dearsapphy@gmail.com or you can text. That is 773-800-1420. Let's go. Have some good combos, get some good vibes going, how we go. I blame Callie off. I'm like freestyling when I talk. I was talking to the ghetto alien, everybody's favorite alien, by the way. And she just talks in prose, and so she's rubbing off on me, so. Okay. In the comments of Arena, Steve is learning this, I think. He says, width is the horizontal axis of genius, the dimension where the autistic no-chill mind thrives. While others plod along narrow paths, the no-chill intellect spreads across infinite interests, debating astrophysics one moment, analyzing bubble wrap history next. It's not chaos, it's efficient multitasking. Socially, width sees all options but ignores unwritten rules because, frankly, facts are better than pleasantries. Hyperfixation, tangents, and meme logic fuel this wide expanse of thought, baffling linear minds. Why pursue depth when width offers boundless exploration? For the no-chill mind, width isn't a limit. It's the sprawling playground of brilliance and unapologetic intellectual anarchy. Well, my gosh, that was the most dignified shill I've ever heard in my life. Bravo, Extinct. Bravo. I feel like I should call you Saya. That was quite a delightful explanation of that, quite frankly, hideous PFP that you will probably know. I like it. I like the energy that everybody that has it. That's what she said. Okay, not crypto beats. Okay, we're gonna get started. Shout out, we got 36 people that are tuning in either from Twitch, X, or IG. My comments are consolidated, so if you want to shout yourself, say who's in the room, say what platform you're on. I'll check the comments as I can. Let's see here. Well, thank you everybody that pulled up. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody had a happy holiday season. I know it's not always the most fun for a lot of people. So if you had a tough time, just know you're not the only one. And just don't stay where you are. Feel through what you're feeling. Sometimes you're not always going to feel good. So feel through what you're feeling, but just try not to stay there for too long because then you'll get stuck. And you only need to start 2025 off with that. In fact, we had a conversation at the Artfully Fest space last night. We have it every other Friday or whenever we can get together. And we were talking about release. Winter solstice, much like the trees that shed their leaves. This is a time of releasing and letting go and creating space for something new. And why not have that something new be the auspicious start to the year that's coming in just a couple of days? Crazy. Okay, but that's not what we're talking about today. First of all, my name is Sapphire Barzo. Miss Barzo, if you're classy. I do want to shout out my Arena fans. I can't see everyone on the other platforms unless you comment, so no love lost. But right now I have Hito, Jit, Jesse, Crypto Beats, Extinct DR, Bayonetta, Beast King, and who else is in here? Oh, you got 2 accounts, okay, and his twin. So shout out to the Arena Room, shout out to everybody wherever you're listening. This is a new show that I'm doing. I want us to be able to have these conversations about questions and things that we encounter that we don't always get to talk about and we are trying to figure out because nobody really has all the answers to life. We're all kind of making this up as we go. And so at the very least, it's nice to be connected with other people that that are doing life and that might have some wisdom or some experiences that they can share to help figure this thing out and make it a little bit smoother. So that's what Dear Sapphy is about. Um, the first episode, we talked about being your true self, essentially. Today, we are going to be talking about soul ties. For some people, that like is a trigger word or means something very intense. For other people, it's just like, what is it? So I want to get into soul ties because while I do believe in soul ties, it's inexplicable. There's going to be a lot of like intangible aspects to it. I believe in them. I just don't know when it starts. Like I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, is it just anytime you lay with a person and you exchange, bodily fluids and energy? Is that all it takes? Do you have to actually have been in love with a person, and then that added factor of the physical is what activated the soul tie, or is it possible? Because I think I experienced this, but I'm questioning now if this was actually the case. Is it possible to have a soul tie with somebody that you never even met? Like in the realm of like quantum physics and string theory, theory rather, there is no separation of things really in that realm. So it's just like based on that, can you like have a soul tie with a person that you maybe only talk to, or that you've never met, so that it's not really sex that activates the soul tie? Those are the things I've been trying to figure out, and I still don't think I have the answer, but I think somebody might be able to add some thoughts and things that will get me back on the right path. And so that's what we're talking about today, soul ties. I think they're real. I just don't know how they work fully. But I've experienced and talked to some people, and I think if you do have a soul tie that's unhealthy, I think that is important to deal with. And there's some tips and things that I want to go over. So let's start from the beginning. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for sharing wherever you're sharing. First of all, I guess I never really introduced myself fully. I am Sapphy. I am an artist. I will be dropping new music in 2025, as well as some other fun and creative projects. But I've been the host of the Culture Talk podcast. I've been hosting in spaces. I love people. I love community. I've been building and kind of learning the last 2 years, and now I'm ready to share what I've learned and share my love and share my talent and share my experiences with people. And that's going to be through creativity and music. That's going to be through film, and as far as like the writing portion, and that's going to be in things like this. So this is the beginning stages of Dear Sapphy. So thank you for being here with me on the ground up, because this is just the beginning. It's going to expand, and to God be the glory for all of that and anything else that's involved. So with that, are you listening on X? Thank you, Eli. Good to see you here. I saw you in Arena at first, but I see you switched over. Okay. Soul ties. Please feel free to comment. Please feel free to email dearsapphy@gmail.com or text 773-800-1420 if you want to comment anonymously, or you just don't have the ability to get on the speaker. Okay, soul ties. A soul tie is a deep emotional, spiritual, or physical connection formed between people, often through intimate relationships. These ties can influence emotions, thoughts, and even physical well-being. So that is a definition, or a combination of the definitions that I acquired. So there's a few types of soul ties. A positive one is like healthy relationships. It fosters growth, love, and support. And then there's the negative soul ties. That's the unhealthy dynamic that leading to like emotional distress, dependency, or physical symptoms. Now, when I was looking at soul ties, it has such a spiritual, or I would say religious connotation to it, that I also wanted to bring in something that's, a little bit more neutral when it comes to religious backgrounds, because not everybody has the same religious background, and some people are not even religious at all. So in a more like secular connotation, instead of soul ties, you might want to use the word entanglement. And as far as the definition of entanglement, an entanglement refers to a complicated or compromising relationship or situation. In the context of soul ties, it often carries a negative connotation, implying a connection that is messy, unhealthy, and worse of all, hard to escape. So as far as entanglements and soul ties, entanglements are often the negative manifestation of soul ties, rooted in unresolved emotions, unhealthy dependency, or unbalanced dynamics. So that's what we have so far. And thank you to the people that are pulling up. I gotta stop and show a little love to everybody that's here in Arena, and I do want to send a little tip there. Don't spend it all in one place. Okay, and don't mind me. I will be sipping my tea as I go, just because we do all this yapping and we will get popping out. Yum yum. Is dandelion chamomile and green tea for anybody that was wondering? For all the tea heads out there. Okay, so we just defined soul ties and entanglements, and then I want to kind of go over 10 signs that you might have a soul tie. And as you are, so I'm trying to figure out how to do this, because if you're in Arena, I can let people up that want to come share. This is a shill-free zone, so definitely I want to tap in with you and see how you're doing. But if you're trolling or you're shilling anything, I will mute you. I'll give you a chance to stay up, but this is a no-shill zone. As far as doggone it, you know what I can try to do? Let me try to get on my other phone on X so that I can let people up. Oh, okay. I see. I would have to actually. Interesting. Oh, it's so weird seeing here. So this feels like the Matrix in a weird loop. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get people to talk.
What up?
Yo, peace. Thank you. Yes, please say hello as while I figure out the X thing. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Peace, King. Peace, love, and light. Thanks for being here. How was your holiday season? Are you still celebrating? You still sipping on the eggnog and whatnot, or whatever else?
Oh yeah, man. I'm trying to see if you can come positively soul tie me up, baby.
Look, let me tell you. I read one of the messages. Was that you that sent that message? I'll read it later when I get into the. I only got 2 messages so far, but no, that's funny.
How you been though?
I'm blessed. Like I can't complain. You know what I mean? Getting ready for abundance and joy and travel and all of that stuff,
Yes, indeed. I receive it and believe it. Let's go. Let's get it.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Easy car. You already know.
I definitely want to hear from you if you have things. Don't feel pressure. Okay, so you all haven't. What I'm going to do is start a space as well. I don't know if that's. Yeah, I'll start a space on X. That way, if you want to get on speaker, you can. But after this, you might have to get on Arena to share or send a message, because this is a bit much having a space, Arena, and other things going. So thanks for being patient. Okay, let's just get to the 10 signs you might have a soul tie. This is not in any particular order, nor is it a complete list. These are just the things that I came up with that kind of came up repeatedly when I was doing the research here. And so let's see. Number 10, intense chemistry. Or maybe number 1, I'll say intense chemistry. Like you feel an undeniable and almost magnetic pull toward that person, and it makes it hard to resist their presence. I feel like that's one sign. Inexplicable attachment. You feel as though there's an invisible cord connecting you to that person, even if the relationship is ended. Excuse me. Then we have obsessive thoughts. So no matter how much you try moving on, your mind inevitably wanders back to them, often distracting you from other priorities. So I see people throwing up emojis and whatnot. That must mean that I'm talking about something they've been going through. Okay, next is telepathic connection. And this is kind of along the lines of what I was saying before, where it's like it defies the normal space-time boundaries that we often set, because we're used to working in 3D and like chronological, linear, sort of like tactile, like things that immediately stimulate our 5 senses, things we can taste, touch, hear, and smell and see, without remembering that like there's more of what we don't see. There's more dark matter and stuff that we don't see than the things we can visibly see on the light spectrum and the sonic spectrum that we are capable of as humans. So we forget that there's other things out there. But I really do believe this one, telepathic connection. You can sense their emotions or thoughts, regardless of the distance, and sometimes feel like they can sense yours too. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever had that. And maybe too, we can think outside the terms of romantic feeling. I didn't think about it at the time, but maybe if you're a mother This is something that maybe it kicks in maternally. Maybe you just have a best friend, cousin, a sibling, a twin. So I guess we don't have to think of this only in the combines of a romantic relationship, but that's the perspective that I'm thinking about because that's what I've experienced it as. Peace to mindset, my brethren. Shout out to the Live, Learn, Create. You guys gonna come over here and shift the atmosphere to some good stuff over here. So peace to mindset. Sir Vic, Vocals, Brainlets, Demi 9000, thank you for being in the arena. Thank you everybody that's online. We got 60 folk over there. All right, so far to recap the 10 signs, you might have a soul tie. We said intense chemistry, inexplicable attachment, obsessive thoughts, and telepathic connection. Next is strange synchronicities rather. You notice random occurrences. Maybe you keep seeing the car that they drive. Maybe your favorite song everywhere you go is your song together. I don't know. It could be big and small, like romantic or just the banal things of life. But you notice these random occurrences, and or you keep running into mutual friends, and then that brings your mind to them. So that I would say is another one, strange synchronicities. Then there is magnetic energy. It maybe kind of ties to that telepathic, that chemistry or that telepathic attachment, like we said. But magnetic energy is, it feels like an invisible force is drawing you back together, even when logic says you shouldn't. Like you just literally, it's almost like against your will, is what I would say. That compare that to. You're being held hostage, like that stupid little bastard Cupid. He's a menace. I'm convinced Cupid is a menace to society, but anyhow, the next one would be physical symptoms. When thinking about or encountering this person, you might experience physical sensations like a racing heart, that little knot in your stomach, even dizziness or faintness. Some people talk about being weak in the knees. You might actually, they might have such a strong influence on you that your body reacts. Next, dream intrusion. How rude. Like, how much rude can you be other than like disrupting somebody's dream? Like, leave me alone. It's not enough that you're bothering me when I'm awake. You're gonna mess with me in my sleep too. Like, how do you get a restraining order from somebody? Like, can I at least have my dreams? Like, anyways, dream dream intrusion. They frequently appear in your dreams, often in vivid and emotionally charged ways, leaving you feeling connected even in your subconscious state. Next is the emotional roller coaster. The relationship causes extreme highs and lows, from moments of joy to intense emotional turmoil. So, in a way, this one I'm a little bit on the fence with because that definition to me kind of leans more towards something toxic. And I love peace. I love chill. I love laid back. I'm not one of those people that like need need drama to thrive. Like, in fact, I want the polar opposite, but I know people that are out there like that. So I don't, that's not what I'm saying when I say an emotional roller coaster. I guess what I'm really saying is like there's such strong, intense investment on every level of your being that, it could be even the most, just trying to think of a practical example of something that's not toxic or even negative, but it's like a lull. Like you're just, everything feels intense from the lows to the angry moments to the like romantic moments. Like you're so sensitive to how they affect your aura and your energy and your mood that it's just extremes. Like nothing is just, it's simple. You're like that into it. So that's kind of what I meant, more so than like a toxic, we don't need to be, messing around situation. Okay. So next, and I think this is the last one, difficulty moving on. Now, difficulty moving on can be a number of things. It could just be you're a person that has a habit and you don't do well, or you don't do well with change, or you just weren't ready for the separation or the breakup, whatever. There's other causes, but I feel like when you have to fight yourself or be disciplined, or you're, especially if you're a person that can usually step away and walk away. I know a lot of people say Virgos are like that, when it's on, but they will like, they cut you're 86, there's no turning back. So people say, I've heard that said. So, but even for a person like that can generally move on with their life, if you have difficulty, despite your best efforts, other relationships feel incomplete or superficial because a part of you still feels tied to that person. So if you want to come up and share if you've experienced any of these 10 things, I'll go through the list again, or if you disagree with them or agree with them, you can feel free to share that. But again, so 10 signs you might have a soul tie: intense chemistry, inexplicable attachment, obsessive thoughts, telepathic connection, strange synchronicities, magnetic energy, physical symptoms, and dream intrusion, emotional roller coaster, and difficulty moving on. So, what are your thoughts, everyone? Has anyone gone through that? Anyone struggling with that now? I'm still working on getting that regular space on X. I did get 2 messages. I think I'm going to show them that for now. Let me look in the comments here. No entanglements, pull up. Oh, so tiny. Look, you're funny. Peace to the room and arena. Appreciate you all pulling up. And peace to everybody that is watching. Just let me like on X, IG, and Twitch. I like the comments too. Seem quiet for now, so let's keep it moving. Okay, so we went over the 10 signs you might have a soul tie. Oops. I'm just trying to make sure I can see you all in case you love. There we go. Okay. So we talked about the signs. So there's a few things that I've been trying to see, like, are soul ties neutral? Are they good? Are they bad to have? Like, I feel like coming from a traditional standpoint, right, and especially if you consider yourself a Christ follower, the only soul tie you're supposed to have is with your husband or your wife. Like, you know, that's who you're supposed to have a soul tie with. So in fact, it talks about being, you know, of one flesh, right? And I think that's the whole analogy of Eve being, you know, in a sense, I think it's allegorical to think of Eve as the rib of Adam, but it's just to say that they are combined, that they are one, that there is no separation because they were, you know, meant to be, or they were soulmates, or they had soul ties. And so it says in Mark 10:8, and two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. And this is in regards, again, to, you know, a marital covenant, a marital contract or agreement. So that to me was enough for me to say, okay, soul ties themselves aren't evil or bad. They're just, again, like the result of something, of the consequence. If you jump off a 7-foot building, the consequence is gravity, of, you know, because of the law of gravity, the consequences are you might break your legs when you fall. So I think soul ties are just a consequence of getting into any sort of contract or covenant with a partner, right? So that was that. So there are positive effects, is what I found. So there's emotional and spiritual growth, as far as if you're with a healthy person, it's a healthy union. Now the negative effects, so a sense of safety and intimacy in healthy relationships. So I feel like having a soul tie with somebody that's healthy, that's growing, that actually loves you, that supports you, who wouldn't want that? Like, to me, it's like, what's the point of doing it and being with somebody or pursuing a relationship if that's not what we're going for? It's like the ultimate level of union, because obviously first there's friendship, right? That should be the foundation, and that's for me. Ideally, the foundation is a friendship where I know the real you and I can trust you and I can be myself, right? But then when you go above that, like, sex is, in my opinion, like the next way. When words don't cut it anymore, like, that's the next level of intimacy you can have, outside of obviously giving yourself to that person or agreeing to a fidelity relationship, you know, for the rest of your life, basically claiming that person. So obviously there's marriage or whatever, but in the physical realm, like, I feel like that should be the goal, is to go beyond the talk, beyond the physical, to like the spiritual aspect of it. So I don't think it's bad. I think if you're with the right person and on the right confines, and they're good for you and you're good for them, soul tie could be a beautiful thing. Like I said, you have a sense of safety and intimacy, and there can be emotional and spiritual growth if you all are bonding on that level. Now, the flip side of that, if you with somebody you know you're not supposed to be, And I'm shaking my head at myself now because some of y'all can relate, I'm sure. But like, if you're with someone that you know you're not supposed to be with because you're not compatible, really, or you're connecting on something superficial like their status, or if you're with a woman because of how she looks or whatever, like whatever. I think both sexes can be superficial and have their own reasons for why they are with someone. That's not healthy or beneficial. So if you're with a person for any reason like that, or they're not really available, and you're violating a thing that they already have with someone else, I think you're going to, every time see the negative effects, whether it's right away or you don't see it right away, but there's the emotional baggage. There can be difficulty moving on past that relationship, right? And the physical impact can be stress, anxiety, hormonal imbalances that are tied to these unresolved ties. And so, um, also the feeling of stuckness. That's what when I was saying earlier. Put myself on do not disturb there. When I was saying earlier that you can feel like you can't move on, if it's somebody that you're trying to move on from, that's not a good feeling. That's not a good way to be, right? And so, feeling emotionally tethered to unhealthy or past relationships is a distraction. It's not a good use of your energy because it's a dead end, right? And there's no reciprocity. Um, and it's also blocking the next thing or next person. Maybe you're not ready to get in a relationship and you're healing. Well, you could be transmuting that into a business venture, a project, your art, volunteering, something beneficial, even if it's not a relationship. But even if, especially if you're trying to seek out a different relationship, being tethered to somebody that was never good for you, that you're no longer going to be with, that brings up all this negative emotion. Having a soul tie with somebody like that will stagnate you and it's going to block out the very thing you're looking for. And so those are the two ways that I see soul ties. I see soul ties in general, if in fact they are a real thing, which I do think they are, is neutral, but you can either have good soul ties or you can have bad soul ties. So I've been talking for a little bit. I can't, until I complete this space on Twitter that I'm working on now, get anybody up there. But if anybody that's on the stage or anybody wants to come on the stage, an arena to share their thoughts, you are more than welcome to. I don't see any comments on the. Well, actually, DR Smart, peace to you. Um, he says, well, actually, I don't know if you want to be neutral or not, but I assume if you didn't text the line, you're okay with not being anonymous. But there's a comment in Arena that says, had something of an unshakable. I appreciate you getting me thumbs up. Thank you. Had something of an unshakable connection with someone, but was told most likely was an astronomical reason for it at that time. Interesting. So I wonder if by that you mean that maybe it was because Mercury was, you know, sipping lemonade or whatever, um, or in retrograde. Maybe it was like literally stellar activity, excuse me, that was causing that. Is that kind of what you mean? Like when there's a the full moon is so powerful, it has a big impact on the ocean, right? And so I don't know why people think that if it has an impact on trillions, if not more, of gallons of water, why wouldn't it have an impact on you? That's like 70% water. So maybe there was something in the heavens that triggered that. Or I don't know if she was trying to like in a smooth way be like the stars aren't aligned. It's interesting. Okay, so follow-up question if you feel like sharing, if it's not too intrusive. Um, did that person telling you that it wasn't meant to be, but it was just a result of astrological or astronomical activity? Did did that instantly make the feelings go away? Did those feelings linger for a while? I'm curious, like if that was enough. You said murky Gatorade for real. I know that whole Mercury and retrograde is crazy. So, okay, I've been promising to get this Twitter space up and up. It's for real this time. Scouts on, or my fingers are not. Oh wait, I was gonna say my fingers aren't crossed behind my back, but I forgot I'm on camera. Okay, so no fibbing, I guess, as you guys can see me. Okay, let's get this up. I don't have to make a fancy title. Solar ties. Mhm. All right. While I am trying to get this in, what up? I think I see you over here in the X comments. Peace, everybody that's here in whatever capacity that you're here. Thanks for your time and your energy. Okay, soul ties. Let me just get this. I can always fix. That way, if you want to come up on the stage, you can do that. Okay, so you all, another thing that I'm reading this book. Shout out to Hito, who always reads like the type of books that I enjoy reading, which are like self help and improvement and like philosophy and that sort of thing. He recommended a book called "The Body Keeps the Score." So it's about like how your body stores like psychological, sexual trauma, things like that in your body. And because I happen to be reading that, I've taken a break from it and I've not finished it, but just kind of some things reminding me of what I've been reading about. So the body stores memories of significant events, including trauma and attachment. Emotional bonds, much like trauma, can shape our nervous system and future interactions. So a scientific curiosity is the hypothesis that okay, so sip of this tea because we're gonna get into the whole. I don't know. I'm not snitching. I don't know if this is just a wives. It started as a wives' tale or urban legend, if you will. But supposedly, a guy's DNA, like if you have intercourse with a guy, right? They have found, supposedly scientists had found traces of that man's DNA, more than likely through exchange of like semen and things like that, and women years later, right? And so the research I was doing is sort of inconclusive, but what I found is that's mostly an urban legend because unless the woman like had a child, right, specifically a male child, then there would be, unless the woman was pregnant, there wasn't really, they didn't find consistently the traces of past lovers. So again, just because that doesn't happen in the scientific realm, does that mean that there's not spiritual consequences of that? I don't know. But I did find that for the most part, the hypothesis that DNA may remain in a woman's body after intercourse is an area of ongoing exploration. Though unverified, it invites reflection on how intimacy may have lasting physical and emotional effects. So, any feedback or comments? I guess this might be a good time. Let me see here before, because I have some things I want us to listen to real quick. Um, okay, yeah. Before we get to this next part, I want to listen to a few different opinions on soul ties. So they're like just a few minutes. I need to get out of full screen. They are a couple minutes long each. And so this first one is a snippet. This is R.C. Blakes Jr. He's talking about what is a soul tie. So just a few minutes, we're going to throw this on. First, I need to get it on the speaker. You feel me? Again, everybody, thank you for pulling up. We're here listening. I appreciate you sharing the space with others, getting people in here. Like, we are just having grown up conversations. If you are like doing whatever you do, relax. Cheers to you. If you're just simply chilling without any extra adult libations or plant. And I'm gonna nuke my tea as we play this.
Real. I don't know. I agree with the fact that there are negative profiles. He only kind of dwelled on the negative examples. I don't know again if anybody has any. Hello, Strokes. I see you in there. On Twitter. Can I see your request? Oh, I did not. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. Well, I'll bring you back up. Peace, Hito. Welcome back to Stage Crypto. How are you, Hito?
I'm doing great here at work as always. Wanted to I came up earlier to share on the soul ties part of the topic to say that I've had in my lifetime so far share all those type of different type of soul ties with many different people, from friends to relationships to people that were just like staying in as a guest at somebody else's apartment in my line of work.
Oh, wow.
Connections with, meet the person, we have that moment, just stare at each other, like interest, love. I feel
that were deep, like we have known each other for a long time. It's insane to have that connection. But I've also had the negative effects as well. So, those are things that I've gone through in life personally. So I just want to say, like, yeah, it is true. Those things do happen.
So a question. So first of all, thank you for sharing. I love to always see you here and hear perspectives. But do you feel like maybe you're a person that kind of is sensitive to that, or that you maybe connect with people more quickly than others? Because it sounds like you've had a wide variety of people and multiple that you've had a soul tie with. So do you just connect too quickly, or not too quickly, but yeah, do you connect rapidly with people in that way? Oh, I'm sorry, my mute was on there. Anyhow, I'll repeat my question. First of all, thank you for sharing that and being here. And I was curious because it sounds like you've had it happen so many times, and even with people that the average person would only be bothered with on a very like superficial level. Do you love too hard or too quickly? Do you connect too quickly to people, you think?
I mean, I've had that before. I do have a thing where I do sense a lot of people that I've met before from relationships. Not every relationship do I fall like right away. A lot of times I'm very distant, cautious, and take my time on how do I engage with somebody. But there have been people that I do fall quickly because I always see more. Maybe because I pay too much attention to a lot of little details from the individual as I talk to them, ask questions, and see their perspectives, where they come from. It's like I can always see beyond the surface level of what they're saying. And it's happened many times with many people that I've known. So I guess that is one of those things that do happen with me. It has gotten me into trouble as well because, sometimes like you fall in love with the person that you create in your head. And then when the time comes that you're involved in that relationship, you see that that person is not entirely who you thought that they could be. And a lot of times those things become an issue that, later on, it just becomes like a disappointment. So yes, I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. It reminds me of just that habit that I think we both share this, where we prefer more meaningful conversations, for example. Like we can do small talk when we have to, but it's more of a chore than anything. So I feel like when you're like that, there's this tendency to want to go deeper, faster, or just go deep with people in general that you feel like are good people, or there is any sort of potential, just because it's worth it. And then what's the point of being superficial, like having somebody around that you only want to be superficial with outside of coworkers, where you have to be bothered with people. So do you find though that soul ties have been easy for you to break? Because I don't know about you if you've ever had a friendship breakup, but that has actually been the hardest sort of soul tie for me to break. Because I've had, I think, soul ties and connections with people of the same sex that we were friends. So my friend Maria, it was one of those things instantly. This is like way back when. This is like when I was getting my first job at like 18 at like a temp agency, and I met her, and she was crazy right away, and we just connected, and we were just road dogs. We through so much together, and then like I don't know, about 8 or 10 years later, we had another person that came in that didn't really care for me, and kind of wanted Maria's attention for herself, and so she would just say really mean things, and somehow I don't know, just kind of turned her heart against me, and I was just like, you know me, if this ain't, we're just gonna have to do. We almost literally had like a breakup. It was crazy, and so we didn't talk. It was hard. We had spent so much, had so much adventure together, could be ourselves 1,000%. It was just like, it was beautiful. And so I was devastated. And so I set that boundary. And then we ended up talking again, probably, I would say like 5 or 6 years ago, when I moved from Chicago to Minnesota to be with family and stuff. And it was cool. It was almost like no time had passed. And that connection, like no matter how infrequently we talk, whenever we're together or we talk, it's like no time has passed. So I do believe in same-sex, like platonic soul ties. And for me, compared to the most recent encounter I think that I had with this, or the soul tie that I created, which was more of a romantic sexual thing, it's hard to say, maybe because it's still fresh as far as like processing everything. I don't know. I feel like breaking up with my girlfriend was no. This is. I think they're both hard, but like breaking up with friends, to me, that you have like a spiritual sort of, if you will, soul tie with, is like really hard. I don't know if anybody's ever struggled with that, or if you've only ever been through it with a romantic partner. What that was like, I'm really curious to see. Thank you for the tip, Nessie. He's a big spender. Hey, big spender. Hey, Bexy babe. Spend a little time with me. John DeVoe, I'm letting you up. Nice to meet you. Please don't shill or troll. But how are you? Are you there, John DeVoe? Did I say your? Is that like Biv Bev DeVoe? Am I saying it properly? Is that not the way to say it? Okay, he might just be chilling on the stage. That's cool. We like scragglers. Somebody got to hold the wall up. So you're the guy at the party with the red cup that you've been sipping on, standing back up against the wall. That's cool. That's cool. We're going to keep the conversation going. Shout out to everybody wherever they are listening. I see Omi Queen in the building on X. We have Strokes Driven on X. And we got lots of people in Arena that I think y'all are about due for a tip. So shout out to people that are over here in Arena. If you're on other platforms and you want to get on Arena, essentially, it's literally, it's a beta stage X, right? But the beautiful part is you can get money for being here and doing what you're already doing. So like right now I'm sending tips, and they're cumulative. It's not like if you get a generous tipper, somebody might, throw you something in your wallet, hint, hint. But at the very least, why not get paid to do what you're going to do anyway? So if you want to be on Arena, you can use my referral code. It's in my Twitter post. So shout out to Callie, to Nessie. Thank you, Nessie. Thank you, Mindset Bex, Eli, aka Inatreya, Rocos, Zinni 9000, Biometa, Extinct Jesse, John DeVoe, Crypto Beats, and Hito. All right, so far in this conversation, and thank you for everybody that is still tuning in and everybody that has contributed some wisdom. We've talked about what a soul tie is, both the positive and the negative connotation. We've talked about the 10 signs you might have a soul tie. And we've talked about basically what it could mean like in your body, like how your body physically acts, or some ways that you might fit, the physical manifestation that you might see as a result of a soul tie, right? And so now I kind of want to talk about healing and severing soul ties. So for those people that are thinking about the new year in 2025, and a lot of us are making plans about what we want our lives to look like, the things we want to have. A lot of us are also thinking about the things that we possibly have struggled with, or that we don't like, that we feel has made us stagnant, that we want to be rid of so we have room for the good things. And so if you're in that space, maybe you're thinking about, healing from a soul tie. I would say some practical steps are going to be awareness, like identifying how a soul tie, or if you don't want to call it that because you feel like it's too spiritual, it's too extreme, just a unhealthy emotional connection. Like identify how that is affecting your emotions and your decisions. If it's taking too much of your time, if you feel like you're getting your chest hurt. You ever had it? I've had it where reliving things in my mind, really reliving perceived hurt, both when I wasn't taking any responsibility, and then especially when I'm like, oh, you dummy, that's your fault. Like reliving that, rehashing that up, made my chest physically hurt. Like it's like literally like a what I imagine like the beginning stages of an asthma attack is. I don't know, I've never had one, praise God, but just this tightness, like literally where your breaths are kind of short and really shallow. Like so I've experienced what that negative part can feel like, just feeling down, feeling you start going in this negative loop cycle of, not even being able to see the real life that you want or the real relationship and bond that you want. And so if it doesn't feel like have an awareness of like how you were feeling and then what triggered that feeling, what triggered that? Oh, is it reliving that conversation and wishing you would have said something different? Is it unforgiveness? I would say that's my thing because anybody that knows me knows I love hard. And so I feel like the all I don't ask for much of anybody, but just respect and like reciprocity. So when you feel like you're mistreated or that someone really hurts you, you feel like you're justified in that anger and you feel like if dwelling on it somehow is going to hurt them. That's silly, baby. Unforgiveness is drinking poison and wishing that something bad happens to the other person is stupid. So, um, and then if you just humbly think about the fact that like there's so much that God has to forgive you for, like you've done some things. You've hurt, if you think you experience heartbreak, how much heartbreak must the creator experience every time we reject him or we act like we don't see him in the trees and in the animals and the babies? Like, or we don't acknowledge Holy Spirit is real. Like, so if you think you're heartbroken, imagine the creator and just realize, oh snap, I mess up all the time. I miss the mark all the time. I may have done this thing and I may have been, the best partner I can be, but I wasn't perfect. I said and did these things wrong too. So forgiveness is huge. And forgiveness is generally more for that other person than for yourself because there is a scripture in the Bible too that says, bless those that don't curse you, for in so doing you are reaping holes on them. So ain't that cold? That's cold. It bless them, right? Because you're pappy, you don't take care of them. You don't have to. And so yeah, I think awareness and backtrack. What do you call it? Retroactively or reverse engineering this feeling that you're feeling, this thing you're struggling with. Where did it stem? And if it stemmed from dwelling on something of the past or person, just start making mental notes of that and saying, okay, anytime I think about this, I'm gonna stop and thank God and said, or I'm gonna stop and imagine I'm gonna close my eyes and visualize myself in another country with the love of my life, being embraced the way I love to be embraced, being kissed the way I want to be kissed, being cherished, me cooking for that person and making him smile. I can see us taking a walk on the beach, having a profound conversation and holding my hands, us praying and praising God with gratitude for each other. I can see us going to like celebrate a deal that we closed. And so like, that's just an example, like whatever you have to do to stop that negative cycle or that feeling that's starting to start in your chest and instead redirect that energy that is actually power in disguise to redirect that energy towards the thing you actually do want. It gets easier and easier. Like when it's fresh, you're gonna hurt, you're gonna cry, and I'm a big fan of letting that happen so that it doesn't. If you try to suppress it, it's going to come up one way or another, and you much rather heal from it before you get into anything else, be it a person or a project. So yes, that awareness, forgiveness and release, let go of resentment and anger to reclaim your emotional freedom. And I think part of that is taking responsibility and being honest and the things that you either overlooked or that you contributed to it. Responsibility is huge. And even saying sorry, like, you know how hard it is to apologize to somebody for something that you were wrong in when they are wrong and they're not going to acknowledge, you know how big you got to be for that? Like that is not easy and it's not fun, but it gets easier and easier. Whether you think they deserve an apology or not, whether they apologize to you or take responsibility, being able to say you're sorry, and then it's between them and the creator. So yes, awareness, forgiveness. And so I don't know if anyone wants to contribute to some things that they've done. I know people that have like gotten baptized or something similar to that. It wasn't like a religious or a Christian baptism, but they went in as a symbol of washing that person off of them, dipped themselves in a lake and kind of floated there and came out with a like internal declaration that they are starting fresh. There's no animosity, there's no feeling. So I don't know, does anybody have any interesting things that they've done to kind of break those ties? Hey Benny, hi Bayama over here. Peace out.
Personally, for me, I've shared it a few times, but it has been taking a large amount of time from ever dating anybody, which is like about 6 years, and giving myself time to seek the answers that I needed to seek in order to let go and grow from the previous things that I have been through, from the hurt that I have had, and to identify where was it that I was failing myself every time that I jump into these things. Because I'm not going to say that the people who hurt me were entirely at fault. I think that my insecurities and my at the time the not being able to make certain decisions and be straightforward about my the things that I didn't feel comfortable with were also part of me getting into that place. So I have blame at least for myself in that part. It's not like I did anything to hurt anybody. I've never been that type of person. I've always been a big on love and just the essentials that is needed in order to build a true relationship. I cherish communication and trust and all that stuff. So
absolutely.
I guess.
Oh no,
sorry,
continue. I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was on mute. I'm just saying yes, preach, but continue if you please.
Thank you. So yes, so I had fault in that, and because I didn't stand up for myself a lot of times, is why I fell into those problems. But during that time that I spent away and I seeked for the answers, I got to meet people, like we mentioned before, like soul ties, that came into my life, that we spoke as friends, and that person became very close to me, just as friends, nothing like that. It was the opposite sex, but she was the one who, recommended me. She said, if you really want to go on this journey to heal yourself, I can suggest 3 books for you, but you have to be serious about doing this, because I don't want you to start this and never go forward with it, because it's very important. Right. And I told her, yes, I've been looking for something that can guide me there. And that's exactly what it did. And you mentioned one of those books. That was actually the 3rd book that I read. The first book was The Power of Now. The second book was The Alchemist. And the third one was The Body Keeps the Score. That's why I always preach those 3 books, because they were very defining to learning about myself, looking deeper within, paying attention to the signs that are in front of me, the things that I was already seeing but I was ignoring, and being more forward about those type of things to make sure that I just don't fall into the same place where I get hurt the way that I did before. So that was my journey in order to move forward in a new light, and let go of the past pain, because before I used to live on that pain every single day, where any little thing would remind me of how I was hurt, or past conversations would come in and they would torment my mind. I would be swallowed inside of these feelings and this negativity, and just feel like there will be never anyone in the world that I can be with, or it'll be there's everybody is toxic. There's no good woman out there for me. It was really bad before, but after reading those books, I understood that the problem lied in my insecurities and taking charge of my life, being whole with myself and trusting who I am, and focusing on what I needed to do for myself, to be accountable for my actions, and that would eventually heal me. And over time, that's exactly what happened. life started changing right after going through those books and taking charge of my life and being more present, focusing on the present moment today and not tomorrow, not on the past. And the past just became lessons. And it's funny that when, after healing, going back to all those times that I got hurt, didn't feel like pain anymore. Now I felt like, now I understand why that happened. Now I see these things. This is good to learn from. These are lessons now. So, I can speak about them so openly now that they don't even affect me when I talk about them. There's a few that maybe will tear me up when I recall because, there were things that, unfortunately, those are not easy to pass on. But it's never in a place where, like, I feel that I'm going to be broken down because I talk about it. It's more of like, they hurt me because they were meant to hurt. They did break me down as a person because I know at my core that that's not who I am. And I know that my values are true and I know what I want in my life. And it was just sad to go through those things, but it's good to go through it because it gave me perspective. It gave me the sight to be able to know what it is that I need to do next in order to be in the place that I want to be. It's never easy, of course, you're still going to be challenged. You're still going to meet people. You're still going to go through emotions and, it's very difficult. But when you always go back to relying on yourself, it makes it a lot easier to move forward.
That was a word. First of all, you said so much. I think I can definitely relate as somebody that's just naturally very affectionate and passionate. And so I don't do it for everybody because I base it on the energy and just the calling. I feel like I'm called to certain people on different levels. And so I'm going to be as nice as I can to most people because it feels good to be nice. I don't know. I like being nice. I know it's kind of, you're considered lame or whatever if you're not a bad bitch or, a boss bitch or that like dark feminine energy. And I tap into all sorts of energy. Don't get me wrong. But my baseline is usually to be nice to people and love on people, even if it's just brief. I might only see you on the bus and never see you again. But if I can do something or say something nice that naturally I feel inspired to do, not anything contrived, then I'm going to do it. But like when it comes to people that I gravitate towards, even like Keith, you should know, like we knew each other very superficially. And then it was just something I'm like, oh my gosh, it's something that makes me want to like pour into him and like, love on him more and connect with him more. And Chanel Cali is definitely another like huge person I just feel drawn to. And so when you're naturally drawn to like pour into somebody, then yes, you can go very deep, very, very fast, I think. But what you just said about tapping into yourself, that has become so huge. One of the biggest benefits I would say that I've personally experienced with being single for a long time is learning myself and learning to not only be comfortable with being myself, but enjoying my company. Like I think I'm hilarious. I be having a good old time with myself. And that only makes, it does make you a little, what up, piece to Coke Pot. It makes it okay it makes it easier to be free and be yourself, number one. But I think if you learn to love yourself, you start to really realize what your non-negotiables are. And you set a boundary as far as the type of love you want to receive. And then that only frees up more energy to love on people even harder. So I think that that's been huge for me. So I love that you said like caring, but being your own number one priority makes it easier to not put somebody unjustly that doesn't deserve to be on the throne of your heart. Like if there's no room because your love of God, your mission and yourself are like sitting on that throne of your heart, then only the right person is going to be able to come and take up that extra space. So I think that is so crucial, is loving and honoring yourself. And that's what's going to magnetize that person that's going to love you that same way, love you and honor you the same way that you love and honor yourself. And then it's just this big, happy, like, echo chamber. You're loving on them, they're loving on you, they're loving on the fact that you're loving on yourself, they're loving on the fact that you're loving on them, you're loving on the fact that they're loving on the fact that you're loving on them, that they're loving on you. Like that's the type of soul type you want, that one that looks like the infinity symbol that's going. Thank you for the no chills and all the tips. Shout out to everybody on here in Arena. If you're just joining us, we're talking about soul ties and entanglements, and we've talked about, oh, sorry, mindset, I didn't see you, bring you up here. Talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the signs of it, and now we're talking about healing from negative soul ties and severing those soul ties. And I will say before I tap in with my brother, I'm a person of prayer. I love to pray. I love to talk to God. I love to be in my word. And for me, that is the most intense form of breaking a soul tie, is literally taking the perfect, spotless, and almighty power of the name and authority of Christ and applying it so that if any soul tie you've made, which is like I will say it's a marriage contract in the spiritual realm, any soul tie you've made, any contract that you've made, that you can use the blood and the name of Jesus to sever that. I mean, I was talking to someone earlier about this. There's big G and there's little G's. There are, lots of forces and principalities. So, with all due respect, there's a lots of forces out there, but I'm always going to go to the most powerful to nullify and void out. And it's like literally ripping that contract up in the spirit realm and like severing it or pouring acid on it where it's not even a remnant or trace of it. So personally for me, that's something that I rely on now. I would say prior to that, the old me, I had never really had a soul tie like that before. Um, maybe one other romantic soul tie, but like everything from, like I said before, I know somebody that's like ritualistically washed themselves clean in the lake. I know people that have written out like their anger or the way that person has hurt them in like a letter and torn it up. Like, so I know people do things. I think those are all just, whatever you do is symbolic of you accepting what happened, accepting that it didn't feel good, and doing something to say this is at this day at 1627. For those of you that do military time, that's what time it is here. At 1627 on December 28th, the year 2024, I'm now marking a new chapter. This soul tie is severed. I'm healing from it. I'm whole. This has taught me so much. I'm preparing for the actual love of my life that will be my partner, my life partner in crime for eternity. And it will be a healthy, beautiful, loving situation. I do want to tap in with my brother. How you doing, Mindset?
I am good. I am good. Like it's funny because I have a god sister. Like whenever she breaks up with somebody, she literally burns everything that they left in her house. Like she takes it in the backyard, puts it in a can, and she sets it on fire. She kind of burns away all of that negative energy. I've seen her do this 3 times in her life, and it's going to be 3 really powerful relationships for her, and whether they ended mutually or bad, she just wanted to kind of rid herself of everything that reminded her of these people to kind of move on. Me and her kind of differ a lot when it comes to that process. For me, saying once you become a part of my soul ties, you're kind of there forever. I always have this process of just thinking about the relationships that have came and gone, and the ones that we're still building. Because like a lot of times when we talk about soul ties, we think about relationships between boyfriend and girlfriend, or parents and sons, and so like there are so many different types of soul ties, and I think they all need to be examined, and you need to find out which ones are ones that you keep, which ones that you need to kind of sever. For me, when it comes to severing soul ties, I just try to make sure that my mind is actually made up, right? That I did everything that I needed to do to make sure that we can further this relationship. And if it didn't work out, that it's not necessarily not on me or on them, but like we have a mutual understanding that this is not working for either one of us, so we can kind of move on. Like I don't have too many long, like when it comes to women's soul ties, because I have a wife and I try to keep that process for her and her only. But like when you think about the people that have come in and out of your life, there's always this impact that is left upon you. And you have to really decipher, is this good or bad? One thing that my mentor always tells me is that you want to be the person that you want to be around, right? You want to kind of mirror that type of person that you want to be around. So like if you want to be with somebody that's going to be faithful and loving and respectful, you have to be kind of mirroring those things. You have to be giving off that same type of energy. And if you're not, you have to recognize that, you know, the tie that you are putting on people is not necessarily a healthy one either, you know, and that's more about inner work and doing the work with yourself to clear your soul, to make sure that you are not bringing poison to other people's souls. And I think not enough of us take a look at the things that we do wrong. We like to play the blame game like everybody else and be like, it wasn't my fault. Nothing happened in this relationship that was negative, that was connected to me. But the reality is, most relationships, when they're good or bad, you have some type of effect on that, right? Like there was something that was going on that you had some type of effect on that. So just being aware, you know, being really aware of what you're doing. And asking yourself certain questions and putting yourself in certain places to make sure that you are respecting those ties. You know, like not just like with my wife. Like when it comes to my wife, I try to make sure you don't catch me hanging out with just wild girls that be wilding out, that have no respect for what our union is. When it comes to my friends, like if you are bringing me down constantly, I'm not hanging with you. I'm not going to continue to tie my soul to somebody who is destructive not only to their soul, but to all the souls around them. And when it comes to family, which is one of the biggest and hardest soul ties for us to sever, because you think because somebody is born into your blood that they're going to be there for you forever. For me, family, that was earned, right? Whether you blood or not, that don't necessarily make you family. Being family is what makes you family. You know, people like Sapphire, when I go out, stuff like that, y'all see me in the street, Bio Meadow and hit those. When y'all see me in the street, it's still the same love. Bex all over the different communities, just showing the same type of love. That's what makes us family. You know what I'm saying? The support and all of that stuff. So a lot of times we allow the automatic tie of somebody being part of your bloodline dictate how much you put up with somebody, this, that, and third. But if they're not working, and I mean putting in that constant shadow work for themselves and working on building something great around themselves, you can't really be a part of my family, right? Like the people that I want in my family bring growth to me, bring growth to themselves. They always questioning how they do things and why they do things. Much like Sapphy, I'm very heavy with being spiritual, and like a lot of times people's spiritual ties don't mix, but yet we continue to fight for these relationships with these people who are not necessarily good matches for you. And the one thing I will say is that there are billions of people on this earth. Yes. You have but so much time in a day to share with those people, and you should be sharing time with people who actually are working to be good influences and do good things in your life. I've met people on Twitter and on social media who like know me 6 months, but so ready to support me that don't buy tickets for stuff, that is always promoting our stuff and retweeting. All these little things matter so much, right? I got 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and I've been in the crypto space for about 5 years. I've been on the map as far as social media for about 4, and in all of that time, I've had many of the people in this room see me perform live, come in and show us love, tap in with the music and the poetry. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and none of them have been to any shows, right? They haven't tapped into what we're doing as a whole. The only time they really hit me up is when they want free tickets to something that we are doing. And so, like, recognizing these things, right, has really shattered a lot of the ties that I've had with a lot of these people. But I'm okay with that, because you know what? There are people who treat me like I've been their brother since the day I was born, and I want to have space and room for them too. Right. And that's the one thing that we have to start opening ourselves up to, is the fact that there are billions of people on this earth, and you have but so much time to spend with those people. So spend time with people who are working on themselves, that want to see you work on yourself, that's not going to sit there and watch you drown, because all those things are not good for your soul. It's not good for your energy. It's not good for your productiveness. So like I try to make sure that I myself, people who are like-minded, people who are taking the same type of actions to get better. And then I recognize when people are not, and I release them with love. Right? Like I don't have to be disrespectful to them. You know what I'm saying? I try to have that conversation like, yo, boy, we could do better as far as you being my friend, as far as you being my brother, my cousin, my nephew. Like you can do better. And if you decide not to do better, then this is what I'm gonna have to do to protect me.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are so many people in my ecosystem that are trying to protect me, and I want to protect them too. And I can't have you coming around fucking with their energy or doing things that may put them in danger or messing up their moods and stuff like that when you haven't put the necessary work in to be around us. You know what I'm saying? So like just one thing, if y'all leave here with one thing for me is to make sure that one, you're doing the work first, right? Before you ask anybody else to do the work, that you're doing the work first, that you are recognizing when things are not good for you. You're saying that shit out loud and you're taking action to kind of move yourself away from that. And then try to hold on to that. Yeah. Like a lot of times we say, I'm not going to do this. And then we keep up there for one day. And then 2 days later, you're back to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's not how change works. If you want to truly have these changes of your life, you want to truly open up doors for people who are going to bring greatness into your life, you got to stick to those changes. You got to understand that, the ones that really want to be a part of your family, that really want to be a part of your life, is going to do the necessary work to stay there. You know what I'm saying? So like just recognizing those things will help you grow in so many places. And the last thing I'll leave y'all with is that y'all deserve it. That's the number one thing, right? We deserve to be around good people. Your soul deserves to feel clear. Yes, your mind, your mental, your body, your physical, all of that. You deserve the best of these things. Yes. And if people can't recognize that, then you got to get those people away from you, because there are so many people in the world that you don't even know yet that is ready to go 110 for you. And you have to open up space for those people. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel no sort of way, because the reality of the matter is these people don't feel no sort of way about the way they have been treating you for years. They have felt no sort of way about the way they left you or they left you hanging or whatever this, that, and third. And you have to recognize these things. I know sometimes it's hard to be like, yo, I need to walk away from this. But like, yo, listen, the greatest things you do in your life is going to be hard. Yeah. I'm telling you, they're going to be hard. They're not going to always feel right in the moment, but they're so necessary, man. Find a way to get people that really love you and treat you right so you can live a fulfilled life. You only have one. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to live that one the way you want to live it, you cannot allow yourself to be hindered
preaching
by
right now.
who don't want to live like that,
Seriously.
You know?
Yeah. My goodness. I'm so glad I was muted over here. They can hear me on Twitter and all the other platforms. First of all, that's why I'm so excited for all the content that you're bringing, that we're bringing with Live, Learn, Create, because that's the wisdom and and just the even keel perspective that we're building from. And I love so many things that you said. I would say what stuck out for me, and it hurt a little bit. It's a little bit. You slapped my hand a little bit with that. But making sure that you're doing the work first. And I think I got to that conclusion retroactively after I had decided to forgive. And then I kind of worked backwards and was like, oh snap, I do have to say, did I deserve to be mishandled, mistreated, and disrespected and lied to? No. Did I deserve no reciprocity? Like, no. But my taking ownership, and even something as simple as knowing that what my boundaries were and what my non-negotiables are, and seeing that I wasn't getting it and bringing it up once and sticking around, that's on me. You know, being a little foolish and being like, oh, well, this person just has been through a lot and just needs to be loved on. That's going to change it. Like, I have to take responsibility for not listening to Holy Spirit, you know? So when you start taking responsibility, it would have been a lot better. I think I would have handled the end a lot better had I done that work first. But I did get to it, but I agree with you. I want to say wholeheartedly, anybody, start with yourself first, because then you're going to start uncomfortable. Well, why did I put myself in that position? Oh, snap. This is just a not so pleasant side of being a daddy's girl. This is a way of me like missing that type of, I gravitated towards that energy that I'm familiar with, that I've seen in my father, you know, and all of it, you start to unravel things that you're like, oh my gosh, if I don't deal with this, I'm going to go through the same thing with a different person in a different skin suit. So I better deal with this. So I just want to really hone in on that, because you hit the nail on the head, starting with doing your work first. And in the midst of that, forgiveness will probably come. And then that letting go, I highly recommend it for sure.
I just want to say one thing. Also give yourself grace, right? Like a lot of us are not taught how to deal with these emotions, how to have those conversations, how to tap in with ourselves first. Like a lot of us are taught to be selfish from the very beginning. From the very beginning, we're taught things like you don't need nobody's help for anything, right? You're gonna do everything by yourself. You don't need this. You don't need that. Like we're taught from a group of people who really didn't have the language to be together, right? Because they were taught something even worse than what we were taught, right? And I think especially now we're going through this whole metamorphosis of the way we communicate with each other, the way we deal with problems, the way we are dealing with our emotional baggage. We have a lot of more people stepping out on the lamb and saying, hey, I need help. And I'm going to go out there and get that help. And I'm not going to just keep receiving what I've been receiving. But a lot of times they don't give themselves grace because they think that, oh, I should have known this. I should have been there at this. I should have. I've been through the ringer so many times, and still I didn't learn lessons that were being taught to me right then and there. Some of the best lessons I learned 10 years later, 15 years later, where I'm sitting just thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe that when this guy said this to me, I didn't get it right then and there. I didn't know right then and there. But give yourself grace, because a lot of us haven't been taught how to do this, and we're learning all of these things on our own. And I think our generation really learn how to get in tune with themselves with no help for that. And we should give ourselves a pat on the back for that, because now our children and their children will finally be able to express themselves. You know, that's the one thing I'm thankful for. My children, when they need to express something, they don't waste no time. They express themselves without the fear of being shot down, of not being understood, of just getting a rash answer. Like a lot of times I remember, I'm not going to tell you exactly what my son said, but my son came to me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you know, he dropped a bombshell on me, and I was just like, wow. And I stopped for a second. I didn't have the answer, but I told him, I said, yo, listen, regardless of anything, I love you. I don't have the right answer right now to give you, and I just need a second to kind of digest what you just told me, but I love you. And no matter what, that's never going to change. And just in that moment, I created a space for my son to always feel like he could come and talk to me. My mother didn't know how to do that, right? Her mother didn't know how to do that. So they weren't able to teach that to us. And we were lucky enough that like we're in a time where we're learning these things from each other, right? So just give yourself grace, because even though you might have took too long, acknowledging and finding out that you still need to do it is the point. And long as you move in that space, we all right. I ain't gonna hold you. I was gonna give away a 0.2 to the squad, but I'm about to split up a 0.8 for everybody in the group. So whatever y'all get from the 0.8, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? Because like we as a group, we definitely gonna be showing a lot of love to people. But anybody that come and support Sapphy, I just want to say we thank you for that. And we're gonna keep on keeping on, you know what I'm saying? So this is my love for y'all. I guess it's a 0.04 for everybody. And then we're gonna send something from the Live Learn Create account in a little while to somebody who really deserves to be supporting us from day one too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about the money, it's about the support. So as long as you support, we're gonna spell out. And I got some great news for the Live Learn crew. I gotta tell it to the crew before I tell it to y'all, but we will be announcing it tomorrow. Man, it's love. So Sapphy, back to you. And you know, like Sapphy has picked two of the greatest topics that I've heard spoke about. These things are important. And so just make sure y'all keep tapping in with Sapphy, because Dear Sapphy is going to be one of the best shows on Live Learn Create. I guarantee it, y'all.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for the wisdom. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm just happy to be connected with people that are like-minded, that are like actually trying to put some positivity out in here and elevate people's lives and be a good influence. And I'm just excited to be a part of this. And I just can't wait to see what God's going to do with it. Because I feel like we think we have grandiose plans, but like he's able to do the exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. I think that's Ephesians 3:20. But whatever it is, I definitely am standing on that for myself and for all that I care about and that are especially close to me this coming year. And so that's why we're having these conversations. I'm glad you um, brought up that they are good conversations. I hope too that you all will start to engage more, whether it's email or messaging me or texting me. I want to talk about the things that not are just important to me that I'm going through, that I'm thinking about, but I want to hear from everyone else because I feel like we all put ourselves on these islands. And really, there's a lot of people that are going through the exact same things, and they have a piece of the puzzle that we need to see the complete picture. And so that's what these conversations are about. Like, and then just honestly too, like as adults, do we get to like be honest and talk about when we're effing up in life or when we're confused about stuff we know we should have the answers to? That's what I want to get out of this. It's like we're all figuring out this life thing. We've all been through some crazy stuff since 2019, and so let's like forge a new path and not do life isolated in this individualistic bubble like we've been doing before. This is the time, and apps like Arena and Twitter and or X, whatever we are calling it right now, and all these apps, like it's cool to escape and be distracted and be inspired and see some fashion and be entertained with some music. But let's like use these apps to forge the future that we want to see, and be the voices that are like the loudest instead of all the same old. Because it's usually you don't gotta even really be smart to be honest with you. I'm noticing you don't have to be the prettiest, the best looking, the most clever. It's the people that are like bold and bodacious and loud. I notice that are making waves. So why not us, right? Why not these conversations and topics? So a lot of this, yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more of this, and there will be some fun stuff. There's so much that Live, Learn, Create will be rolling out, and even standing up for the communities we love, like the Beast Fam, the AKCB. Like, hold on to your britches. So, with that said, I do want to get back to the conversation at hand, which is soul ties. We talked about last the healing and severing soul ties. One thing I want to talk about in ways that I think soul ties can be fun, or at least pleasurable, we'll say. Please still driven as either. Is like the sexual part of it. There is something between people that have just casual hookups, I think. I've been in a situation where I personally have only been intimate with people that I was in a relationship with, and that always stemmed from us having a friendship. So for me, it's usually I don't know what that world is like as far as like a one night stand or like just casually hooking up with somebody. But I understand what it's like to. The closest example I have is like making love to somebody that you might be mad at a little bit, or like that there's some unresolved resentment where it's not as there's some sort of rigidity or like blockage where you're not fully experiencing the freedom because there's like a hardness in your heart or some anger or something that's unresolved. That's the closest I can come to. But for people that are just y'all are settling. Let me just say that this is no judgment, but I'm just saying like when you are having sex with somebody that you actually care about their well-being, their health, their future, it hits differently. There's a level of intimacy that you get. And I think I always think about Tantra that, I don't know if anybody's ever read about Tantric practices and tantric sex, but that's like, it basically is going beyond just the physical, what's going on in your body biologically and the sensations and the synapses that are firing and the dopamine and the serotonin and like all the things that are mechanically or chemically happening in your body. It goes beyond that as far as like what's happening. Tantrics is like what's happening to your soul, that thing that's inside of the shell. Are you elevating outside of your body? Are you all, is the energy twirling like it? So I just think that there is a spiritual aspect of intimacy where a soul tie with the right person can be beautiful. And so let me see, there's a few quotes here. Sacred sensuality or sacred sexuality involves harnessing sexual energy for spiritual connection and personal transformation. That quote is unknown. This is from Daniel Adler. In Tantra, we worship the body as a temple, a sacred vessel for divine energy to manifest. So just think about that. If your body is a temple, and I think even from the Christian perspective, we look at our bodies as a temple, right? But even here in Tantra, if your body is a temple, Then there is something, Callie's coming up. Sorry, you all. This doesn't alert you like Twitter that tells you when somebody's on stage. So my apologies. I don't know how long you've been down there, but I'm letting Callie up and I'm letting MBR up. And also anybody else that wants to come up and speak, you can. But yeah, Tantra just lets us know there's another layer to sex. And I think that's something that can either really activate the soul tie, it can really intensify it. That's why a lot of people, and I'm sorry, earmuffs for anybody that's sensitive. I'm going to do less vulgar speak in 2025, but I just don't know how to say this in any other way. So this is your last chance. If you are protecting your ear gates or you're sensitive to vulgar, more crass language, you got 10 seconds to put the earmuffs on. Okay. So colloquially, this is what people call being pussy whipped or dick whipped, right? It's just that literally, it don't matter if you dislike this person. There's something that happens during during sex where you become entangled, where your body's, this temple merges, and where something that can't easily be broken. And so Osho, I don't remember. Okay, I'm having a hard time remembering Osho, but it says the body can become a vehicle to that which is beyond body, and sex energy can become a spiritual force. So yeah, even in that quote, it kind of just driving home the point that in many cultures, many religious beliefs, there is an exchange absolutely happening in the spiritual realm, and sex can intensify that in ways that no other connection can, outside of like a blood connection. So sexual intimacy is not merely a physical act, but a spiritual exchange, affirming the profound interconnectedness of our emotional, spiritual, and physical selves. I do want to say hello to two people on the stage here in Arena. Callie Speedway, peace to you, Queen. How are you?
Yo, I've been in here for a second, but the conversation was so slow that I was like, I didn't even see myself in the room. By the way, I was in here.
I honestly didn't either.
Everybody talking. I heard everybody talking. I heard Mindset speaking on his son. I heard he. So I've been in here so long, and like I said, I've been enjoying it. But I'm like, it's crazy. I mean, I guess we going on this lane, and now it's time to go. Come aboard the mothership, y'all. We talking about energy. We talking about, being tied in other realms, that you know of and don't. But yeah, I'm glad we're having a conversation. It's real. People have a lot of, I've talked to a few people that have had like, soul tie, I don't know, I guess soul ties done on them and they want to break them and try to figure out how to get loose of the energy. Oh, I heard Mindset say, so he's got a sister-in-law or somebody burn the artifacts of those that, you don't want to come back, pretty much. So y'all are on the right track. I'm going to just sit back, relax, and, take notes.
I appreciate that. Shout out to the Live, Learn, Create account. Definitely there to follow. Everybody just got tipped 10,000 cock. Appreciate it. So definitely very generous. But yes, Callie, there's been there's lots of little rituals and baths and things that you can do. I think at the end of the day, as long as you are releasing them in your mind, and you are making a conscious effort to let go, like that's it. So L Lotus, peace, thank you. Appreciate everybody in both rooms. And Upper Food, you just came on Twitter. So I'm in a multiple account, so you'll have to throw your hand up when you want to chime in so I can give you the floor.
Like I was like, yo, that's Cali. That's ill as fuck. Sapphire and Cali in the same room together. Like they must be the person. And I know, and then you were like, they got tipped to 10,000. I was like, oh, okay, she in the arena and shit. I haven't fucked with that arena shit too much, but I heard you say that the conversation was so fire. But with a name like that, really, how could it not be? I'm just mad that I got fucking 4% battery.
Oh,
I'm gonna put y'all on to some ill shit, right?
Okay.
So, look, we already know everything is energy that vibrates at a certain frequency, and if it's vibrating, it means it's moving, and this is where people fuck it up, right? All right, boom. If you get stuck, if you get blocked with your energy, it's not easy. It's disease, right? Emotion is energy in motion. So if it's a vibration, it has to continue to move. It has to continue to flow, and that's the secret to how we create harmony or dissonance, right? If it's something very much so in oppositional defiance, then it causes dissonance. And if there's something harmonious and it adds on, and you could create layers and you could create harmonies, right? So boom. When we talk about, you know, all of these things aligning, really a beautiful part of it is you get to see sometimes where you bottleneck. This is the beauty of these communities, right? And this isn't really soul ties, but it's all the same shit. But sometimes where we bottleneck, we are able to find somebody else who could be strong where we're weak. And that's how really success is created, right? Henry Ford, they did an inquisition for him. And they asked him a bunch of questions, and he said, yo, push the button on his desk. Like, I got somebody with that answer, right? So you don't got to be the greatest goddamn it at everything you do, but if what you do has a synergy or a vibration or a connection to it, then you will find those like mind that help you combine and then realign to all those things is on time divine type shit. Sapphy, I think we might have a soul tie, man. Every time I look at your picture, man, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I would love to meet her. Real talk. She acts, she sings, she fucking be talking in spiritual esoteric shit, and if you stay too long, she might set your clothes on fire. Don't get it.
No, that wasn't me. I don't set it on fire.
Oh, nah, that shit kind of crazy. That's like the Beyonce video to the left.
I mean, maybe with my mind, I might just shrink your head. Like I might
why
just.
You think she was setting shit on fire? Because there's real things in vibration and motion. Look, purifier. Why do you think it's called that? Why do you think we have purifiers? Like I've been this whole week listening to this Digital Alchemy album. And it's all these basically spells, man. They're just vibrations that you could use to think alignment or attunement or rebalance your frequencies. But one of the illest ones that I work with this week was a return to sender.
Ooh, bye-bye.
I ain't never really did that. Yo, the return to sender was so crazy because the areas that I was experiencing like tension that I'm normally like, just buckle through that shit and grind and get all the way. Nah, it was like when I hit the return to sender, it was able to transmute that energy from that tightness and those blockages back to other areas of energy that I needed to, uncover. It was kind of dope shit. But I'm gonna see if I could. I got 2%. I've done it before, but I'll put in my playlist I created for the community.
Please do. I have to share it. You always got some good spiritual stuff, some good and high energy stuff. Thank you for always coming with the high energy. Thank you for the generous words as well and the wisdom. Yeah, no, I'm with it. I think what you said reminded me of that. Like water is good, right? Everybody needs water. Water is healthy, but if it's stagnant, it starts to like fester and bacteria comes. And so water, like energy, anything else needs to flow. And so I love that you brought up blockages because that's what happens when one person is giving so much, and that has been my downfall. When you're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and you know you got good love and good love. I'm sorry, humble brag, but when you love well, you love deeply, and you're not getting anything in return, there becomes a blockage in anything, even the purest stagnants.
Yeah, I promise I do. I want you to look at some mathematics with me real quick, if you could.
Okay.
Right.
It's a little scary. You said math. You cursing at me now, but okay. Hold on. I got my paper. Jesse, thank you for the $1,000,000 cock. That is really, really generous.
Look up this.
I'm ready.
You put 2 dots right next to each other on the paper. Just put 2 points.
Okay.
There's a point where you at.
Horizontally or vertically? It doesn't matter.
Right next to each other.
Okay.
Like it's right next to each other. Okay. The same line on the margin. And there's a point where you at and there's a point where I at. Right? Now I want those 2 points to focus on each other, which means somewhere in the future those points are going to cross paths. So you would draw a line from one point and you would draw it where it would intersect with another point. What do you create? You create an X. There's a point where those 2 points meet, and then they end up going opposite directions. That's the point where they intersect. You know why? Because they focused only on each other. They're just trying to get together. They're just trying to do that. They're just trying to bring it together. 2 points. The point where you at, the point where I'm at. We're trying to meet at the point where we're going to meet at, and then eventually we cross paths. That's how that goes. That's mathematics. But now I want you to take another example. I want you to put 2 other points, but I want you to focus directly in front of them.
Okay.
They focus where they need to go. If you take those 2 lines and they just focus where they need to go, where's it go? It goes straight up. It goes straight, and they go straight to infinity. And here's the beautiful thing about it, Sapphire. It will run side by side till infinity. But it is only once we focus too much of our energy on the other line that it ends up intersecting, and it might go a different direction. But if you focus on where you're trying to go, you're going to find like-minded people who are going to add on to that, and your mission becomes part of a team and a dream, and that's how y'all build. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that. It's better. When you said math, I got scared. This literary stuff, I'm your girl. But no, the only thing about that I would say is there's a sense of, what do you call it, that vortex, that like cycle loop that overlaps and almost creates that like Venn diagram shape. There is a point where energetically, if the flow is going, it'll be more of that overlap. Like that, like I said earlier, that infinity sign that like feeds into each other, almost like the snake eating its tail, whatever that's called. I can't remember.
But mommy, the infinity is just the number 8, and the number 8 is to build and destroy. So we can add on or we can take away. But even if we look at sacred geometry, there's feminine signs and there's masculine signs. The circle that brings everything back around. What you're trying to do is connect the plane, land the dot, make sure it circles back around. That's a very feminine way to do it. A masculine line, if we try and angle it, just might be a straight angle. It just might be like that.
Yeah.
It just might be point to the next point. So they intersect beautifully, and they create the flower of life and the Metatron's cube and all these beautiful sacred geometry diagrams that we could study and analyze. But you know, it's all just quantum potential. And I'll leave you one last thing. When you talk about water, it'll fuck up your whole head if you picture it rather than just like space around you, or rather than just like you're back in the chair in the room or wherever you're sitting. If you close your eyes and you picture everything's in water, and you get that gravity to lift off you, and you could picture being submerged, then your flow will be different. You don't get stuck in the parts.
So levitation, floating. And look, I've been talking about gliding 2025. So I'll glide, I'll float, whatever. I like both of those.
Well, the salt pod shit is crazy. They really make me do that. Floating. People scared. They be in there for a minute and they see their whole life go in front of them and shit.
Oh. You have to be ready. You have to have done some footwork, I think, to prepare for that. You can't just go from not being awake and not being aware to something like that. So yeah, I would suggest you do the groundwork first. Start playing with your shadow first before you immerse yourself. Thank you for always dropping the knowledge. You always do have a bomb playlist that's like frequency or binaurally infused.
I changed mine a little bit. I added some new stuff. So I hope y'all like. I'm gonna drop it now, and I'm probably gonna die the moment.
No worries. You've been like sometimes it's a good time and not a long time, but you definitely added value. Thank you, King. And shout out to one of the comments. I don't know if you wanted to remain anonymous or not, but you said this conversation is exactly what I needed right now. Can't get over how I came in and heard mindset and now this. So thank you. So thank you for being here. And I am gonna read the 2 things that have come through on the chat line. For those of you that are either shy or just don't have the opportunity to speak, you can always text 773-800-1420. And I'm going to read, I got 2 comments only this time. Actually, I haven't checked them with, so maybe. All right, so one person, which is just being a flirt, which I'm not mad at. It was funny. Hey Sapphy, I don't know much about soul ties, but you can have my soul if you tie me up. Call me if you're feeling adventurous. Okay, thank you for the offer. You had me at tie me up, but I probably have to charge you for that. But okay, so
bingo.
So hi Sapphy, I wanted to share my story. For years, I felt tied to a man I knew wasn't good for me. I couldn't explain it no matter how much pain he caused. I still loved him deeply, but now I'm in a healthy, loving relationship with someone who supports me and brings out the best in me. It feels like that soul tie has finally faded and I'm free to love without baggage. I hope my story gives someone else hope for their healing. I like that. I guess I know we all talked about focusing on ourselves first and taking responsibility and doing our own self work. But I guess I think that's true. Like love is healing. In fact, love is the opposite of all things that are painful and dark, such as like heartbreak. So yeah, I mean, I could see somebody with some love being able to sort of make that fade because even myself, if since everybody's always has been so forthcoming with everything, I think one of the things I realized from the last situation I found myself in is the attraction stemmed again from the fact that I was like, you know, wondering like, am I ever gonna find like the first love of my life? And I think it is true for anybody that's had a good dad around. Your father is like that example of what it is to be loved. And for me, my dad cherished me. Like I wasn't by any means a brat either. What's funny is that you would have experienced if by the grace of God, I hadn't leaned into my femininity at like 16, 17, you would be meeting a very different Sapphy. I was quite and more of my masculine energy because I was so up under my dad. I was probably his first and maybe even favorite son unofficially, just because we were like, I was always up under him. He, everything from like chess to, making sure I hit the books to like, he used to like make us like read the dictionary, weird stuff like that. My dad was just very instrumental into enforcing in me, high values and focusing not on physicality and just being more valuing being smart more than anything else, being pretty or anything. So I leaned into that. But at the end of the day, he still cherished me and treated me like a princess at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain where it wasn't like this soft thing. Everything from sparring with me. So like just making sure I was tough and I was smart was the main focus, but also making me feel like the reason why it was so important to focus on those things because I was valuable. And so when I found myself wondering, oh my gosh, am I ever going to have anybody that loves me like my dad loves me? I found myself being attracted to that similar energy, that very masculine. He was very masculine, kind of a brute probably, but also very charismatic, extremely charismatic. My father was so charming. And so I found myself, because I hadn't done the self work yet, seeking that out inadvertently in a mate or partner, and possibly ignoring red flags, ignoring Holy Spirit, ignoring all sorts of things, telling me not to go down a route that I shouldn't have gone. But I was so attracted to that energy, that familiar energy, and that like love that I, got from my father and wanting to experience that again, but now and more so in like a romantic setting. And so until I had done that work, I was seeking that out. And I think now that I have done that, now getting that sort of love from somebody else, I can experience it in a more healthy way because I've done that for myself now. I've acknowledged what I was really seeking out and why. And so now, to go back to the comment that the person had, that this new love is this healthy relationship, this helped heal. I think that would be the perfect finale of the self-work and the seeking God and the spending time with God and spending time with myself and spending time with my scars and my desires and my weaknesses and all the good, the bad, and the ugly and in between. Now I'm well poised to receive a healthy relationship because I would be able to provide a healthy relationship, right? And so now I feel like I'm at wherever whoever that person is, I'm ready for that part, that layer of healing, and being able to express that healthy love. I would love nothing else but that at this point. I think that's the next phase. So I'm glad I did my self-work. And, I got back with God with my tail between my legs. Like, my bad. I had another round of being a prodigal son. I'm sorry. I swear this is the last time, Lord. No more prodigal for me. I'm good this time. I mean it. So now that I've done that self-work and I did business with Yahweh, I'm ready for that healing phase, that healthy person. That I'm going to appreciate them all the more, I think, too, because of that. That's another reason I'm not bitter, is this experience has put in me a new appreciation for love and for communication and for affection and for all the things I know that I provide and that I deserve back. So yeah, I love that comment. Thank you for everybody that has contributed. We're gonna, I'm gonna tie up some ends, I think. Anybody else that wants to share can do that. And then we're gonna start to wind down the conversation. I would play some tunes. I have to be very careful because Instagram and Twitch, where I'm also streaming, they don't play about copyrighted music. So I'm going to roll the dice though with energy, because I think that song is so fitting right now. And plus, we are graced by the presence of the ghetto alien. If she was on here, she might still be here invisible because Arena's weird like that. But shout out to Rizzo, I see you in the building. Jesse, you have been very generous, and so I'm definitely paying it forward with your generosity. Bex, Extinct, BKL, Masad, Mr. Eminem, Live, Learn, Create, Mindset, Biometa, the king of all the metaverses, Demi 9000, Rogos, L Lotus, Mid Arif, Jesse, Pro, MD. I don't see some of these names. If I missed you, Masad, Goldfish, thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that's on all the platforms. We've talked about a lot of different things. We talked about some things, some ways to heal. I think I have some snippets, but I think I feel like it's a little redundant at this point. At this point, I've enjoyed this conversation. I've gained some new perspectives. I still don't know. I still believe soul ties are real. I still believe I experienced that. I still believe I actually experienced a quantum connection. And I can neither confirm nor deny that Ride Your Wave is based on a true story that talks about.
I might be able to confirm, or I might be able to deny it, or I might be able to say just fly.
No. Just mind your business and enjoy the song. But no, like that talks about being connected without that telepathic connection we talked about. So for those of you that weren't here earlier, I will run down really quickly. The things we said are 10 signs. And then I'm actually maybe I'll do a guided meditation for somebody that might be struggling with that wants to like sever that. But the 10 signs you might have a soul tie: intense chemistry, inexplicable attachment, obsessive thoughts, telepathic connection, strange synchronicities, magnetic energy, physical symptoms, dream intrusion, emotional roller coaster, and difficulty moving on. You are a victim of any of these. I highly suggest you smoke 3 blunts and have 1 glass of red wine a day. I'm just joking. Don't do those things. That's a Band-Aid. It's not going to help you in real life. It's temporary. And no shame if that is how you got to get here. 8th birthday coming into stroke driven by you. Okay. Callie, how you feeling?
Am I really in the room?
I mean, I don't see you. So either I'm going nuts on live stream and you're not really here, but you're in my head. Because are you really here? Y'all can hear her too. I can't see her. Y'all hear her though, right? Okay, yeah. Woo! Okay. So I'm like, usually the one here, one little toke never usually does that.
You see.
Which you need to stop because you got me talking like that. I'm trying, but it's not as smooth as you. I'm over here doing like 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, and because you're rubbing off on me.
Well, that means it's working. It's okay. Slowly, gradually, everything out of nothing. Boom, everything. So, so glad you gathered again. Episode 2, Soul Ties. Yeah. And I'm not even in the room. I can't see myself at all. So I'm trying to see. Let's go forward. I'm trying to see what I can get some pretty virtualized music too.
Ooh,
who's here? I mean,
you got goodies. So can you see it, anybody?
I can't see it. This is crazy, but I am getting through, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. No, we can definitely hear you.
Oh, well, fuck it, man. Listen, ain't nobody better than you. Yes, you. So keep tuning in and getting attuned. That's what's happening every time we come and talk to you. And have a space with you and have a good time with you and exchange energy with you and then transmute with you.
Yeah.
Right back to the actual you, the higher you. And that's ascension energy that essentially we'll be using to change everything. So hopefully that is the plan. That's the plan. So just keep gathering, keep opening your heart to love, keep moving. Movement is everything. Change is getting everything down very quickly. If you're in a way to whoever needs to hear it, hey, move today.
Move. Yeah. In fact, yeah.
Get going.
Absolutely.
To win the race, you need to move today.
Ooh.
Okay. about an alien being.
Yeah.
When is that?
Look, we can do episode 3 because I know I've met a few aliens IRL. I don't think I've ever dated or been in a romantic relationship with one, but I've definitely met a few.
Oh, okay.
I think they're trying to get me, trying to marry me into the family is what I'm starting to feel.
Well, we do.
Is it like Judaism? Can you get married and still being an alien?
Well, if you can join with an alien, well, you are an alien too.
Oh, okay. So then I guess it's probably on my daddy's side of the family, I'm sure.
Probably usually.
I want to do this because you just said something. You said if you're saying now is the time to take action. If it's time to move, you have to do it today. So for those of you that maybe have struggled with a soul tie or maybe even resentment, that just is kind of like that last little thing holding you to a negative situation or person, I'm going to do a guided meditation. So I want you to I like to move. If you're looking at me on Twitter or X or Twitch, you kind of see me like what I'm doing here. But to explain to those of you in Arena that are listening on Twitter but not looking, I'm just moving my shoulders around in circles, kind of like scrunching them at my ears and then releasing, like letting them pop, and moving my head side to side. I just want to get back in my body. A lot of us are so hyper fixed on our devices, our mind is kind of tripped into our to-do list or a conversation that we don't even realize that our left eyebrow is twitching and tingling right now until we just stop to feel it. So kind of just start to go from the top of your head down and start to feel like, is there tension in your head? Are you clenching your jaws? I'm a clencher without knowing it, but I've gotten better. So are you clenching? Are your shoulders tense? Wiggle your body a little bit. Just start to feel, maybe you got a little boob sweat happening, ladies. I don't know what's going on in your body, but start to just kind of move a little bit, just to like stretch a little bit as well. And then I'm sitting up right now, upright, because I'll be reading. But generally, I'm sitting cross-legged, or if you want to lay down flat on the ground, you can. Just make sure you're in a safe space and a quiet space. Make sure people around you know not to disturb you for just the next few minutes, because I want you to become aware of what's going on and be present. So if you want, this is the time to close your eyes. Gently close your eyes, and we're going to pay attention to how we are breathing. We're probably breathing very shallow. But I want us to take 3 slow, deep breaths together. And that's where you're going to inhale through your nose. And it's going to be as if you are smelling beautiful flowers. And then I want you to hold it for a few moments. And then you are going to release through your mouth. And I like to pretend that I am blowing air into a balloon or blowing off birthday candles, whatever you prefer. So again, we are going to inhale through our nose on the count of 3, release slowly and deeply. So 1, 2, 3, inhale through your nose. Hold it. And release through your mouth. Very good. Again, I want you to smell the beautiful flowers. Inhale through your nose. Hold it. And release through your mouth. Great job. One more time. Really feeling your chest rise and fall. Inhale through your nose. Really deeply and slowly let go through your mouth. Really good. That's good. Pay attention to how your body feels. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just get right back to where you were. And continue to inhale and exhale at your own pace. Very good. It's good to be with you all. It's good to have this energy exchange. We're going to go on a journey. I'm not sure that it's Serena, but I'll have you mute your mic. All right. So tonight, we are going to walk through a serene meadow where the beauty of nature and the grounding energy of the earth will guide you in releasing a soul tie that no longer serves you. I'm excited about that. As you breathe deeply, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast open meadow. The air is cool and fragrant, carrying the scent of wildflowers and the earth after rain. The sky above you is a blend of soft gold, warm rose, and lavender as the sun begins to slowly descend into twilight. Look around you. The grass stretches endlessly, swaying gently in the breeze like a living sea. Here, time slows and you feel completely safe. The energy of the meadow wraps around you like a warm embrace, holding you in peace and comfort. Take your first step into the meadow, feeling the soft grass under your feet. With each step, you let go of tension, worry, and heaviness. The deeper you walk into the meadow, the lighter you feel, as if the earth is absorbing all the burdens. As you walk, a soft glow catches your attention. Ahead, a path lined with wildflowers begins to take shape, each flower guiding you forward. You follow the path slowly, letting meadow's energy ground you with each step. Notice the sounds around you, the soft rustling of the grass, the distant hum of cicadas, and the melodic song of birds in the trees. Feel the sun's warmth on your skin, balanced by the coolness of the breeze. With every breath you take, the serenity of this place overwhelms you. This meadow is alive, and it recognizes your presence, inviting you to move deeper into its heart. After a time, you reach a clearing in the meadow. The center stands a magnificent tree. In the center stands a magnificent tree, ancient and wise. Its branches stretch wide and high, adorned with leaves that glimmer like gold in the fading sunlight. Its roots burrow deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly. This tree is the center of the meadow, a sacred place where healing and transformation takes place. You feel its energy reaching out to you, steady and grounding. Approach the tree and place your hand on its trunk. It feels warm and alive, humming softly with an energy that flows into you. Take a moment to breathe deeply, allowing this energy to calm your mind and open your heart. As you stand before the tree, you notice something unusual. A glowing thread tied to one of its roots. The thread extends outward, its other end disappearing into the horizon. This thread represents a soul tie, a connection that has lingered in your energy. It may carry the weight of emotions, memories, or energy that no longer aligns with your higher self. Take a moment to observe the thread. What does it look like? Is it thick or thin, vibrant or faded? How does it feel to look at it? Let whatever emotions arise flow through you without judgment. Gently place your hands on the thread. Close your eyes and take a deep breath as you exhale silently or softly speak these words. I honor this connection for the lessons it brought me. I thank it for the growth, the wisdom, and the experiences it gave me. But now, I release it with love. I choose freedom, peace, and renewal for myself and for the other soul. Feel the thread respond to your words, vibrating softly as if it too is ready to be released. Next to the tree, a small table appears, and on it rests a beautifully crafted blade. The blade shimmers with an otherworldly light, its edges sharp but gentle. This is a tool of divine release created for you. Pick up the blade and feel its weight in your hands. It is light yet powerful, imbued with the energy of clarity and liberation. Hold the blade over the thread and take a deep, steadying breath. With your exhale, bring the blade down, severing the thread. Watch as it falls away, dissolving into golden sparks that rise into the air like fireflies. The sparks drift upward, carried by the wind until they fade into the sky. With each spark that vanishes, you feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. As the thread disappears, a gentle light begins to radiate from your heart. This light fills the space where the connection once resided, soothing and sealing your energy. The tree's energy flows into you now, grounding you and filling you with strength. Its roots hum with stability, reminding you that you are supported and whole. From above, a single golden leaf drifts down from the tree, landing softly in your hands. This leaf is a gift, a symbol of your transformation and renewal. Hold it close to your heart and feel its warmth spreading through you. As the sun dips below the horizon, the meadow is bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The wildflowers along the path begin to shimmer again, guiding you back toward the edge of the field. With every step, you feel your energy renewed. You are lighter, brighter, and filled with a sense of calm and freedom. The meadow's energy has cleansed you, leaving you grounded and whole. When you reach the meadow's edge, turn back one last time. See the tree standing tall in the distance, a reminder of the strength and peace you carry within you. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel yourself returning to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes, grounding yourself back into the present moment. When you're ready, open your eyes, carry this sense of freedom, empowerment, and peace with you into your waking life. You are free. This tie has been released, and in its place is a newfound sense of wholeness and light. Trust in your journey, for you are exactly where you are meant to be. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the room. Thank you for participating. Take your time. Don't be details. Don't feel a rush. But if anybody has any closing thoughts that they want to share on the topic, feel free to do so now. If you're on Twitter, you're not on stage, so nobody's on stage. Thank you for pulling up. I see you've been by another working or coming. Thank you, everybody that's in the arena, all the love, all the tips. Cockpot is throwing tips. Jesse has been extremely generous. Crypto Beats, thank you for the generous tips. I appreciate it. I love that. I choose freedom, live, learn, create. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the AVAX to the live, learn, create team.
I just love the refreshing words. It's so refreshing, so rejuvenating. You go, girl.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Sending that right back your way. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Callie, I don't know if you're actually on the stage in real life because you were a ghost this whole time. But if you're still here and you want to share anything before I close this out on the song. I think the energy shifted. So. Go ahead. Who's that?
I'm over here.
Oh.
Energy is all doubled up because I'm on 2 different devices. I'm working. But I just wanted to send a big shout out to all of y'all. I just sent out the winners for the 0.2 AVAX. I've already sent that out. And I sent out the winner for the 100 Arena. Big love to all of y'all showing out with us. We appreciate it. And make sure y'all tap in for episode 3 of Dear Sapphy.
Yeah, shout out to you. Thank you, Mindset. Thank you to the Live, Learn, Create. Very generous. Not only did everyone get tipped hella arena in here, but I do see that Yugi G Bum 0.92. I'm gonna throw you a follow. Thank you for supporting. You got 0.2 AVAX. And the other winner of the AVAX here is trying to scroll up. I missed it, but looks like everybody that has won has been paid. Thank you for the generosity. Definitely continue to tune in. Continue to give me your feedback on what you would like to hear. I'm actually going to play us out on a song of mine that it's not done, but I'm considering between this and the Daydreaming cover that I did, making this be the first single that I dropped at the top of the year. So we will see, because, I haven't made my mind up, but we'll see. I have to find the right version because y'all can't hear the crazy version that is like the voice note version. I might just start dropping that at some point, let y'all see the process of it being ugly to being actually something that's reasonable to work with. I think that's an interesting journey. But for now, let's not do that. Shout out to the room. Give me 1 second, Arena. It's going to sound like I'm muted. I'll be right back. Ooh, y'all, I am on 3 different devices. This is so crazy. I may not have it. All right, false alarm. I'm gonna have to get it from. I thought I put it on here, you guys. I'm sorry. See there. THX. Shout out to THX, who is the guy I am recording with. Is genius when it comes to the singing and stuff. All right, guys, I did it. I was just shouting out THX. That's the engineer I will actually be recording with on the 4th next week. I'm so excited. I've been doing what I've been doing. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is get into Ooey on the rough mix. And I'm gonna rug us. So thank you again for showing up. Thank you again for rocking with me. And
there's more to come. This is just the beginning. And just in case this is the last time, I think it might be the last time we talk, I might hop in on Wednesday, possibly. As a matter of fact, that reminds me, this is kind of a test, you all. I'm figuring this out as I go. So I want to think of the best way. I'll probably take a poll here on Arena as well as X. That's where most of my people are. What days you like so far? I did a Wednesday, which was cool, Wednesday night after work. I feel like Saturday, for people that are not going out or that are not with family, this might be another good time to chat. But I'll do a poll. I'll take suggestions when you would like to have these conversations. So we can, I want to make sure it's as engaging as possible. So continue. You can contact the 773-800-1420 if you want to chat. If you have a topic, it doesn't have to be just during these spaces. Also, the email is dearsapphy@gmail.com. With all of that said, peace, love, and light. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for sharing this space. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for praying for me, for those of you that pray for me. Thank you for checking in on me, for those of you that check in on me. And most importantly, thank you for being accepting and patient with me. So Dear Sapphy, another episode down. This is Ooh Wee. This is a little teaser, a little sample of what you can
the best comment for Dear Sappy, what y'all got from Dear Sappy, and I'm gonna give away another 200 arenas to the person who has the best comment. Tweet that out.
got it. You all right? Let's do that. Love and light, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see here. Oh, thank you. There's so many good comments. Crypto Beat. Oh, another one. We'll do it justice next time. A lot of good comments in here. I'm loving this. Thank you, Extinct. Thank you. A simple thank you for thinking of others' mental health, as so many of us need to stabilize their thinking. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm so grateful. Thank you for whoever that is that tipped some AVEX. Love you too, King. Peace to you, Biometa. Big proud of you. Big thank you for sharing the space. I saw it on the metaverses. Definitely going to tap in with you about making that a regular part of everything. I love what you're building. Cockpot, L Lotus, BKL, Rogos, Demi 9000, Crypto Beats, Tito, of course, 16 Bex, everybody that was in here, earlier, Callie, Jesse, been very generous. On the Rise, GT9 Pro. Malika, I'm going to definitely send some love to you all on the way out here because I've been so generously blessed. So just for sticking around, here's something for everybody. And then with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. I would have to say it's hard to pick and choose a comment, but I'm gonna screenshot the last few since Mindset said that. God bless everybody. Yes, deck spreads, that's good to me. Mimi, appreciate you. Bayameta. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones no one else can see. If you are struggling, know that your pain is valid and you're not alone. Healing isn't linear, and it's okay to take one small step at a time. Please be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can, even on days when it doesn't feel like enough. You matter, your story matters, and the world is better with you in it. Never hesitate to reach out for support. There's strength in seeking help, not weakness. That was beautiful. That was from Bayameta. Yeah, that's definitely, and Mimi agrees, that was definitely the best comment. So definitely up to you, Mindset, but that was very powerful and encouraging. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Also, your ghost. Oh, you were talking to me. Really, it's what it says. But I will keep these reminders of self-love and intention, energy, harnessing my mind all week. I hope so, Becky. You know, you're near and dear to my heart. Can't wait to get on the power with you live. So, all right, with that, you guys, it was unanimously agreed that Bayameta had that those words of encouragement were the best comment. So I'll get on the back end and make sure you get your AVAX. Peace, love, and
It's out already.
oh, you're so fast with it. Like, are you psychic? Like, how do you move that fast? It's crazy. Okay, peace to everybody that is on Twitch, Insta, and X. This has been really fun. This is just the beginning, work in progress, but still just as much love as it is going to be there when it gets perfected. Mwah, 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 mwah. Peace, love, and light. Goodbye and all that jazz. Thank you, everybody on Arena. Talk to you soon. Bye.